spending time going back and reteaching, kind of finding ways to look at the curriculum in a little different way. Specifically, the math department has done a lot of work on really working on the essential standards and finding ways to do more immediate sort of intervention in class so that the kids don't get as far behind. And I think that that's been a process that kind of they've been working on for a couple of years, but really just this year they've been able to really find the time to put it into place. I think that that's something that's really helped out with our grades thus far this year, and we're starting to see that kind of come across too in our English classes and our science classes, in our social science classes as well. And so that's meaning that our kids are able to stay at a higher level grades all the way along. And when students fall below a certain threshold, we're starting to find places where we can place them into support programs that are going to help them get caught up rather than allowing them to fail. So that's kind of the process that we've been using these last, however long it's been, 10 weeks, 12 weeks of this semester. I think the teacher conferences were pretty well attended. I think last year the teachers told me there was about 6 people that showed up for teacher conferences. We pretty much were full, and granted we had to work that Friday when everyone else, all the other schools had the Friday off to do teacher conferences, but the teachers, a lot of them stayed here till as late as 6, 7 o'clock having meetings with parents, and I think those went very well. We also sent home letters to all families that had students with non-passing grades. Part of that is we wanted to really work together as a team to make sure that those students were getting the help that they needed. Doing some assignments into Saturday school, after school study help, spending some tutorial time with them during the day, and those things have been pretty successful all the way around. We've been doing credit recovery courses for a little over a month now, basically. We're offering students who have not met their A through G requirements an opportunity to retake certain classes that they might have failed along the way. So we have kids that, for instance, maybe failed physics that are retaking a semester of physics in the morning before school 4 days a week, and they'll be finished right before Christmas with the semester. It's an opportunity for that to kind of make up that grade. Sort of think of it as a summer school in the middle of the school year. So that's kind of how that's been organized. And then we also have kids taking some integrated math sequences, and that's going very well. That's going to improve our A through G completion. That's going to make more kids eligible for a 4-year college admission, and that's good for all of us. I've met with Palomar a couple of different times on a couple of different programs. One thing that we're looking at is really changing the way that we do our college math. We identified several potential pathways for students to meet certificate requirements in some vocational courses as well. And so some of this stuff isn't ready to roll out quite yet to show you the specifics, but I think that going into next semester, going into next year, you'll see a very different sort of plan for how we're getting kids into college courses and what we're doing with them. This upcoming Tuesday, in fact, is all the students and their families that are planning to take a Palomar course in the spring needs to come to the meeting on Tuesday evening, because that's where we'll have some Palomar representatives there that will be going over basically the expectations for the college. They'll be talking to parents about kind of their role, and they'll be talking a little bit more with the students about the expectations that they have in those college classes. One of the things that we need to just make very clear is once a student has enrolled in a Palomar class, they're a college student, and so they have to be treated as such. And there are all kinds of federal laws and rules that basically say how the professors have to interact with them. In those situations, parents can't always get involved, so the students have to be responsible. And so really being good about communicating that and educating that, so when we have some students who maybe aren't quite there yet, the parents can make that decision, and we don't get them into a college class too soon. So that's part of that meeting. There's also be some contracts and stuff signed at that meeting. Yes, ma'am?
Is that only for the people that are going to the Palomar campus versus?
No, that would include any Palomar classes, including those that are on our campus.
Even if they've been
in them before. Now, if for whatever reason you can't come on Tuesday, that you'll get that information, in another way. But if you can be here, it would definitely solve some problems. It would make things a little more streamlined for you. And really just looking at, sort of like I said before, expanding kind of our Palomar options, looking at ways to that in ways that aren't going to pull kids out of the high school classes, as frequently, doing some things with our schedule to make that a little more accommodating. I think those are all things that I'll be presenting to you guys in future meetings. On the 24th of last month, all the sophomores and juniors took the PSATs. This is a great opportunity for the kids to, especially for our juniors, to practice for the SATs and the ACTs a little bit, which they should be thinking about taking really starting now to prepare them for their college admission. We're also looking at ways to bring the ACT to our campus, so we might be offering that as offering testing here on Saturdays as early as next semester, and we're also looking at ways that we might be able to actually fund some of that. So maybe taking some of the onus of the cost off on of the parents.
Moving this a little closer. Great. Because there's audio going on over there, and
he knows I hate being recorded. So anyway, so we're looking at ways to make that a little easier for parents and students to access the ACTs and SATs in the advisory classes, especially the junior advisory classes. We're going to roll out a lot more SAT, ACT prep courses, or kind of prep opportunities, and provide them with access to some online programs where they can be doing that and getting ready for that. And it's probably not too early for the sophomores to start thinking about doing that, to start prepping for the test next year. So really, to be on track, if you're planning on a four-year university, if you're a junior, this next semester should be the first, time, maybe second time you take a SAT, should be second semester of their junior year, and then first semester of their senior year. They have another couple opportunities over the summer, but by this time as a senior, they should have already taken the SATs. They should pretty much have the score that they need so that they can turn in their college applications. College applications are due for our seniors at the end of November. Most colleges have their deadlines end of November. And thus far, we have about 8 kids that have been accepted to college, which is pretty good, So we're right on track with kind of meeting the same level of successes that the school saw last year as far as college acceptance goes. A lot of kids have actually been accepted. Of those 8, I think 4 of them have been accepted to multiple colleges, so they have some choices. So that's always good to say, because one of the things that I always tell seniors, until you've seen the financial aid package, don't accept, because one school might seem like it's a whole lot more expensive, but once you see what they're giving you, maybe not so much, so really having some time to make sure that that's done. FAFSA is open now, by the way. If you are a parent of a senior, you should be getting that done very, very soon. There are some things where, honestly, it's not due until March, but and a lot of those things, getting it done early benefits you. So especially on the Cal grants, especially for the A and B, those things fill early. So the earlier you get your FAFSA in, the better off you're going to be for some of those things. We just had Halloween a couple weeks ago. On the 26th, we had our Fright Night dance. It was awesome. We had about 90 kids here, more or less. We had one of our seniors serve as DJ, and I thought he did a great job. He might be my favorite DJ of all time now. I think the kids did a great job, and actually one of the things that was really sort of difficult about that dance is that we have to move everything out of the classrooms, we have to open up all the doors, move everything out of the forum, and use that kind of area as our dance floor. And it takes a long time to really do that. I mean, the kids that helped set up, probably 20-25 kids here setting up, and it took them 3 or 4 hours to really get just the furniture moved, so much less the decorations and stuff. And then to put away, of course, all the kids then disappear. So it took us a little bit longer, the few of us that hung around, to get everything put back. But it was a great dance. I think that the results were worth the extra effort and the time. I think the kids really enjoyed it. I personally enjoyed it as well. So Miss Pecor students also are putting on Cinderella. We have a couple of performances today. In fact, one's going to start here in about 45 minutes. So you're welcome, if you'd like, to stay and watch Cinderella when it's being performed for the kids. It gets pretty crowded in there. But so that's one option. Also, it's being offered at the 127 West restaurant. And I think they might be sold out. So
Is that one show or 2 shows?
that's 2 shows on the 14th and 15th, right? 13th and 14th, thank you, 13th and 14th. So another thing that kind of Madison's been leading up is a competition called our Legionnaire Games. These competitions thus far have included everything from Uno to laser maze to today we have teachers dressing like turkeys.
Great.
Next week, what are we doing, Madison?
Next week we're doing bologna. It's the BS, but we're gonna say bologna instead because we're all appropriate high schoolers.
Bologna. I don't, the ASB do things, you know, but it's actually.
The kids love it. They love Uno because it's so competitive. And I'm gonna enjoy listening to kids shout bologna. It's gonna
Yes.
be the best part.
I've never seen kids get so excited about an Uno game. We had a bunch of tables set up in the forum, and there's a group of kids representing each advisory group, and they're like this, you know, having a great time and you know, screaming at you, Uno! You know, and so it was, you know, it was a lot of fun, and you know, it was competitive. A lot of the teachers got involved, came out and played a couple of hands with the kids. It was a lot of fun. Really, it's just an opportunity for our staff and kids to get to know each other in a different way, to compete together, to have fun together, to really bond as a unit, you know, to bring back some of that family atmosphere that we really want. And I think it's working. Right now, who's in the lead, Madison? Is it still?
Savatos is still in the lead.
So Mr. Savatos has been dominating.
We have a competition thing though. You can challenge other advisories for half their points, and so people are going to try and get Savatos down. And I'm in Savatos' advisory, and I promise there's no cheating going on. It's just Savatos is an intense leader, and he's like, we're going to dominate.
So Mr. Zavatos is he does not understand defeat. So that's gonna be a thing. So also sports, we've done very well. The Lady Legionnaires volleyball team finished their year strong. They went on to CIF, made it to the second round, ended up losing to the first seeded Southwest San Diego High School Raiders, which is a school of about 2,000. You know, so in fact they have a freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team, and all three of their teams actually made it to their division in CIF. So that shows how competitive that school was, and the fact that we did as well as we did really shows that our kids really put in the time, really put in the effort, really took it seriously, and you know, just commendations all around. Also, cross country's been doing very well. I think they still have one more. Are they done now? I think they're done.
Yeah, they just have finals coming up.
Okay, so there's just the finals coming up. They were in second place for the girls. They were in second place before this last meet. I don't know where they are now. We haven't seen the scores. And the boys, I think they were in third place in their league. So still very competitive, still doing very well. We've had tryouts for soccer, tryouts for the basketball team, and those have been very competitive. A lot of people have come out for those things. People have put in a lot of time. Still a little short on numbers for the girls soccer team though, so if you know any girls that want to play soccer, get them out there. That's going to be, I think it's going to be a great team. The kids that are out there are the real dedicated, real strong, real motivated athletes that take school first seriously. You know, they're the kids that are going to have the good grades while they're competing, and so I think that's another team that's going to do well. So that's it for my report. Anybody have kind of any questions about anything?
Just a real quick one. I think it was Madison at the meeting last night brought up pre-calculus as a prerequisite for getting into some of the UC schools.
Correct.
And is there an opportunity for a student here to take that through Palomar, or how could they?
There is. There are opportunities through Palomar for kids to take that now, and college algebra actually exceeds that. So the kids that are in the 110 actually exceed that requirement. But with that said, I fully recognize that we can't always depend on Palomar. So on our master schedule next year will definitely be some calculus, pre-calculus courses to get kids where they need to be. Stats is another great course for kids that don't want to go into necessarily a math or science, but want to go into business or something like that. Stats is a great option that's being offered this year. So we'll have a pre-calc, we'll have a calc next year on our campus, taught by our teachers, but we'll also be pushing the Palomar math class and the new sequences that we're trying to put together with the college that I think will help our especially our STEM majors, our science and engineering math majors to really get what they need before they go to college. So that'll be the other pathway that we'll be pursuing. Yes, ma'am.
The new path that you're gonna have here, would that, for somebody that's STEM oriented, would that be better than doing the 110 and 117, or?
I think we'd have to see. It would probably depend on his specific major choices. It would probably depend on the particular kid and what their interest and ability skill levels are. But
So who would we wanna meet with to like?
that would be to talk to the counselor first. And I think we're a little early for that. Wait till we actually see what the pathway looks like. But I think there's going to be some kids that are going to want to take advantage of that math because it's essentially going to get them through their freshman year of math, maybe even their sophomore year of college math, and you know that's nice too. You know that's some big savings. But with that said, there are also going to be some kids that probably want to that are recognizing they're going out of state, that are recognizing they're going to some special private schools where transferable units aren't always as easy to maintain, that they maybe just want to take the calculus class here because that's going to be a better option for them. So I think kind of all those things have to be taken into account. So I would say talk to Ms. Chellen, the counselor, once those things are ready, and then we'll be able to kind of roll out from there. Okay. One final thing I just kind of want to talk about is obviously the results haven't been finalized yet, but EE's not looking good. And unfortunately, that does mean that, you know, we're gonna have to go to Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. Believe me, there are a Plan B, there is a Plan C, and there is a Plan D. And I think some of those plans actually might be good. So I would not in any sense of the word lose hope. I think that there are ample opportunities out there and there are ample paths that we can take going forward. And I think that if I was putting money on something, I'd say a year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to be meeting heights that are just absolutely unexpected. So, you know, don't take any one defeat as a final defeat. You know, this is the time when the staff, the community can come together with our backs against the wall a little bit, and we're going to find a better way. That's what this means.